Hi everyone, welcome back to this last knitting podcast episode of the year. I am in a very festive mood, as you can see, and I'm really excited to show you everything I have been working on since the start of winter. I have 3 finished objects in this podcast episode that are all very different, and then a couple of whips that I've been working on, just I don't know what I wanted to say. Whips that I've been working on. I don't have a lot of time, so I just want to get into it. Also, we moved apartment and I'm very happy to test out some different backgrounds in the future because our last apartment was very dark and this one isn't. So I have a lot of different filming spots available to me, but I thought for this episode I was gonna sit in front of the tree because it's so beautiful and it's nice to look at while I show you my knits. So the first knit I want to talk about is my first finished object, and it's also what I'm wearing. It is the Cardigan number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I started this before my baby was born, so in June, and I finished it at the end of this September. That's how long I haven't filmed a podcast episode. I started with the shoulder shaping and everything before she was born, and then I did most of the stockinette while I was postpartum with her, and then finished up the rest, in the last couple of months. The yarn I used is Annabelle Tweed by it's a German brand, Schafwollspinnerei Höfer. You can check it out on my Ravelry in case you didn't know how to spell that now. It's Annabelle Tweed in the light grey one, and it has these colorful specks of tweed all throughout it, which I love. I chose to hold this yarn with Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and I don't have the color. It's a light gray as well. I'll put it somewhere because the Annabelle Tweed was pretty cool and I wanted the jacket or the cardigan to be a little bit more warm. I put these kind of metal buttons on it. I was debating on whether I should do these or this kind of button or a big mother of pearl in a gray color or shade, or toggle buttons. But I had just knitted the Port jacket or cardigan by Ozetta, and that one has toggle buttons, so I went for some different kinds of buttons for this cardigan number 9. The cardigan number 9 is, as you can see, a saddle shoulder construction. It was the construction that I had never done before, and as you guys may know if you watch my other podcast episodes, this year has been the year of the cardigan for me, and I have done a v-neck raglan cardigan, then a drop shoulder cardigan, and now this saddle shoulder cardigan to end the year off with. I think I am done with knitting cardigans for now. I actually had the plan to start an Olga jacket, and I already have all of the yarn with me here in stash, but I think I don't want to knit another cardigan and I'm gonna do the Olga sweater instead, or something else with that Peer Gynt, because I'm kind of sick of knitting stockinette back and forth. To be honest, I've done that all year and I now have 3 beautiful cardigans in my wardrobe to rotate, and I don't think I need any more right now. So that's that. I really enjoyed this pattern. I knit it in a size medium, I think. Yeah, I knit it in a size medium and it turned out to be quite oversized, but that's the look I wanted to go for. As you can see, I have quite a lot of positive ease on the body. Of course, the sleeves I knit a little bit shorter than what the pattern suggested, and also, no, I didn't change anything about the decreases on the sleeves. The drop shoulder sits a little differently on me than it does on the photo that My Favorite Things Knitwear provides, just because I chose a size bigger than, or 2 sizes bigger than what I would have needed. The drop shoulder kind of descends onto my upper arm, which is fine for this jacket because this is what I wanted, but I think in the future, when I will eventually do another drop shoulder construction, I will really measure out this measurement and see that the saddle really sits on top of my shoulder and doesn't stoop down like this, because I do feel like it gives me a little bit of like drooping shoulders, if you know what I mean. And it's not really something that you can change afterwards. Like the length of the sleeve, everything else you can kind of change easily, but like the saddle part of this cardigan is the first thing you do. So when that's not perfect, like I wasn't gonna rip back all of this cardigan just to change this. I'm happy with the result, and I think it gives a very laid back look that I like at the moment anyways. But yeah, my favorite part about this is definitely the confetti tweed, and I've gotten compliments about this as well. My mom is actually knitting herself the port jacket in this yarn, but held single. And I think that if you have access to this yarn, you can definitely hold this without a mohair and it's still very soft. It looks like a very rustic yarn, but it's softer than Pergint, it's softer than the Derero Natura Gilia, which I have knit with. It's very nice on the skin, even without the added mohair that I chose only because I wanted the color to lean a little bit more on the warmer side. Okay, so that's, I think, everything I want to tell you about this cardigan. My second finished object is a really cute one, and it is a little bonnet for my daughter. She had grown out of all of the bonnets that I knit her to wear right after she was born, so I had to make another one. And this pattern is kind of a mix. It's a little bit self-drafted, I would say. Like, it's as self-drafted as I can go right now. It's based very loosely on a pattern by Sandnesgarn, which is the Juno hat, but I modified it in a lot of different ways. So the first thing I modified about the pattern is that I added some pearl stitch next to the face. Then I also knit it in a sport weight yarn, which is Derero Natura Ulysse, in the just natural undyed color. And then all of these fun stripes, also by Derero Natura. I added the stripes, those are not in the pattern, but it's just stockinette back and forth. You could do any pattern, stripe, lace even, if you wanted to, that you like. And then I used the decrease pattern from the Juno hat or bonnet by Sandnesgarn, because that's something that I don't want to figure out in my head. But I really, really love this bonnet. She wore this on our wedding day. We got married in October, and I put this on her because I had on a wedding dress that I will make a different video about, I think, that my mom made me also out of Derero Natura Ulysse yarn in this cream color. So she had on her Selma suit and then this bonnet which was so wholesome and beautiful. You can look at the picture from that on my Instagram, and I also linked the designer of my wedding dress and everything. I was so happy with it on the day and still love looking at pictures of our knitted outfits together. So this is the second finished object that I have. She has worn this a lot and it's now getting a little bit small, so I will have to make her another one, and I think I will do some sort of rainbow again, maybe a little bit of a different one this time. My last finished object is the funnest one, I would say, or the most fun one, and it is a little Aggie the sheep. This is her. She took a long time to do, especially her fluffy vest. She is a sheep by Cynthia Valley, which is one of my favorite designers for these types of patterns. I have her book Moosh and Friends, and Aggie is one of the patterns in the book Moosh and Friends. You can also get her separately, just on Ravelry. This is Aggie. I don't have all of the yarns that I used because they were mostly scraps, honestly. Her little fluffy vest is also de Rerum Natura Ulysse in Poivre et Sel, I think is the color name. Her hooves are Knitting for Olive Merino. I don't know what the yarn is that I used for her body. And her little pouch is Filcolana Areta. Maybe I'll start with the pouch. It comes with a pattern, it has a little drawstring, and it's very delicately designed. It has kind of a strap so that she can wear it across body. Then she has this amazing loopy vest, which I loved making. I was kind of hesitant on doing this sheep because of this loopy vest, and I thought that it would be super complicated to do, but it flows by. It's so much fun, and I love the texture of this vest. I added a mother of pearl button up top. You can obviously take the vest off, and I'll show you the next piece of clothing on her. And under the vest she is just wearing this little mini dress with a checkered pattern and crisscross straps. I'm in love with her. I think she's my favorite animal that I have knit from the book, and I've knit many. First she only had the dress, then I kind of let her sit with only the dress for a couple of weeks, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna make the vest. And when I put the vest on her, I was like, oh my god, she's so precious. I definitely have to give her a little bag, and that's what I did, and she's just the cutest and so fluffy, and yeah. I find that they always fly by much faster than other projects of mine on bigger needles because they're just so fun to make. They're knit all in one go, and yeah, they're very potato chippy because you just do step by step, and then you have this beautiful creature at the end. And it's really addicting. I want to do the next one and the next one and the next one. Oh, which brings me to, I totally forgot. I'm just gonna get it. I almost forgot to show you that I made another one. This was on my gifting pile. I have to wrap this up because it is going to be a Christmas gift for my niece. But I also made this, they're called Dodo and Mimosa, little ducklings, and in the book they have mohair knitted in with this strand of merino, but I did only one strand of Filcolana's Areta in this butter lemon yellow, and then orange scraps that I had left over. This one flew by. It's really small when you look at it in comparison to Aggie. Really flies by, and I have enough yarn to make another one for our daughter, so that's probably going to be the next project I'm going to do, just another one of these for her. Just wanted to show you this one as well because it's going to have a new home soon. This one doesn't have any clothes or accessories or anything because I just knit it up quickly before Christmas, but it's still very cute. Then I want to get on to my works in progress. I have 3 or 4 works in progress. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with my Sophie hood. I am knitting a Sophie hood because 2 of my friends have knit a Sophie hood in the last weeks and I had to do it as well. My one friend Alicia actually did hers in a light lilac-y purple color, and my other friend Emma did one in a light blue, so I went for this light pink to go with the theme. And it's basically just like the Sophie scarves shawl situation, but you do some shaping, which I'm doing right now, to create a little hood. And what it's gonna look like, maybe I'll cut this out. But I've got about half of it done now. I'm doing the size medium and I am knitting it in Camaro's Sneef Nook, which is 55% baby alpaca, 35% cotton and 10% merino, and I am knitting in the color Lis Rosa, light pink. There was also a different light pink that leaned a little bit more into the peachy side, but I went with the very like cool light pink because I think that suits me better. One thing I am not so happy with is actually my last skein that I knit up with of the Sneef Nook, and that's why there's so many pieces of yarn hanging from this. Had so many like errors in it. I think a total of 5 areas where the yarn was like messed up like this and had like these factory knots in them, and I was really annoyed with that because this is 2 skeins and I had no like threads to weave in the first skein, and now I have like 6 sets of threads to knit or to weave in with the second skein, which is annoying, but what am I gonna do about it? Nothing. That was just annoying. I hope that all of the other skeins that I have, I bought 300 grams of this, will not be faulty. I hope so. This has flown by. It's kind of hard to do the increases and the decreases with a baby because you do have to count and you do have to keep track of what row you're on, because otherwise it will be a little bit wonky. But I have a stitch counter app on my phone, and then I just kind of press the button every time I'm done with a row, and that way when I get interrupted I don't completely lose track of where I was, because I don't like putting like stitch markers along the way, and I'm not that good at counting and kind of seeing where I last increased with these patterns. I've done Sophie scarves before and that was always kind of something I had to really concentrate on. Yeah, I'm over halfway done now and I'm really excited to wear this because it's getting really, really cold after the new year here where we live. Like minus 15 degrees Celsius, I think, which is not temperatures that we're used to. So I think that I'll be really happy when this is done before that. I love the Camaros Sneef Look yarn. I love the feeling of it. I think the baby alpaca is just beautiful. Our baby is wearing the Selma sleep suit out of this yarn every day at the moment, and I always feel so good when putting her into it because it's so snuggly and beautiful, and I think that I'll be really happy with my version of the sleep suit just on my head, if that makes sense. So the next whip I want to talk about is one that is long overdue because my daughter has worn this version of these pants a lot, but she has now grown out of them, so I need to be very fast and knit her up another one in a bigger size, and it is our beloved Hosenmatz pattern, which I have done I think 4 times now and also gifted to people. And I am doing this pattern this time in the biggest size they have, so I think 12 months, and I am knitting it out of this Mondim Rosa Pomar yarn that is just so beautiful. Look at this. It is 100% wool, Portuguese wool, and I'm knitting it on 3mm needles, and this is what it looks like knit up. You kind of do this belly band, which is very stretchy in 2x2 ribbing, and that's what the Rosa Pomar yarn looked like on that. And now that I have increased, it's starting to stripe a little bit, which I love as well. I'm really excited to see how it will look once I get to the legs of these pants. I have really been liking the feel of this. It's very rustic, but I think for pants it's okay. And yeah, I don't really have much more to say about this. I'm gonna modify it a little bit so that the diaper butt part is a little bigger, because she is wearing cloth diapers and she is now 6 months old, so the diaper butt is growing steadily, and I think that I will just add a couple of short rows or more increases to accommodate for her cloth diaper. I think that's the only thing I'm going to change about this pattern this time around. So this was a short and sweet podcast episode. I kind of rushed through everything, I feel like, but my baby's waking up now, so it's perfect timing. I got everything done and I can now upload this episode. I have other videos planned for the end of this year or the start of the next year. I definitely want to do a video on everything I knit this year, and maybe also kind of a planning video for next year with pattern inspiration. If I have the time, I hope I do. If we don't see each other before the end of the year, I wish you all happy holidays and a good start to your next year. We kind of changed a lot this year. We got married, we had a baby, and now we moved apartment. So I hope that the next year will be a very chilled one for us, and like not that much going on, maybe a nice holiday or something, but other than that, I hope for like peace and calm in the next year, and I wish you all the same, and hope that you spend nice end of the year days with loved ones, or just alone knitting, which is also sounds very good to me at the moment. So see you next time, and thank you for watching. I'm really bad at outros. Bye.